We got Jeff Garmire
coming up right now. What's up, everybody? This is Derek. Feliz Navidad and Happy New Year. We are so excited to be back. And with me today is the only man who can whistle in the summertime and send all the animals into hibernation, Carl Mandrioli. Send them early, baby.
That's right. Welcome to the Backpacking Listeners Podcast, everybody. Happy New Year. With me today is Derek. He's a man who always says buying large, expensive headphones is not a good idea. That, of course, is sound advice.
Oh, wow. I don't know where you get your material. It never gets old.
You got some resolutions this year, my friend?
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do the whole I'm going to do a resolution and then I'm not going to do it.
I didn't say that you had to do it. I just asked if you had any.
Are you that guy? Are you that guy? It's like, I'm not going to eat hamburgers for the next year. And then you do it like a week later.
I've set goals for you in the past. Goals like respond to 60% or more of the text I send you, and they always fail. So I'm not doing them right. But I just wasn't expecting such a grumpy response out the gate, like, humbug. I'm not doing resolutions.
I try to make the things I want to do a lifestyle, not a resolution. Does that make sense?
That sounds like you're very philosophical, and I'm proud of you.
It's deep. I'm deep.
Okay. Well, either way, we're starting off our 2024 with a bang. We've got one of the most famous backpackers, maybe of all time, on the show.
Really? Yeah. Well,
really?
There's some big claims. Really, there's some big claims we're going to talk about. Some big claims
for sure.
So we'll see. Is he big to us? Is he big to the world?
He's big to big into the backpacking world for sure.
He's definitely big. Yeah.
All right. So we got Bible verse for this episode is Hebrews 12:1. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Okay. So he's a racer. That's kind of the connection there. Derek, what's the race marked out for you?
What's the marked at? What did you say?
Out?
Marked out.
Literally repeating the verse I just read.
What's the race? Well, you got to enunciate. What's the race marked out for me?
Yeah. You don't know. You don't have an answer for this one.
Your questions are the best, too.
Thank you.
Straight from are you claiming straight from the Bible in this one? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Is my question from the Bible? Okay. You want me to repeat it? Let us run with perseverance. The race marked out for us. What's the race marked out for you?
What's the race marked out for me? Okay. Well,
I'll tell you what. If you don't have an answer, I wouldn't feel bad about this one. Most people don't even consider this whatsoever.
I'm gonna mark it. I'm gonna mark it out.
Okay.
You want me to mark it out? I'll mark it out.
I don't know that you're in charge of marking it out. We're not always in charge of our own future or destiny. We think we are, but we're not.
Then how would I? This is the problem with your question.
It's not the problem.
What's the race marked out for me? But if I'm not marking it out, so you want me to you
gotta seek wisdom. You gotta seek the Lord to find out. Yeah.
There you go.
A lot of people don't do that. They just
one of determination, Carl. It's one of determination.
Okay. Well, I believe that. You definitely need determination to get through a day in your life.
I need determination to get through an episode with you. What is your marked out path?
Well, at this point, I'm just following the path, which is to keep on making an awesome podcast with you and to keep on having our B&B Bible study. We're getting out on a monthly basis, and then we're shifting it back to weekly kind of once we hit summer season. And then my race in terms of 2024 is going to involve more like semi-weekly Bible studies with my family and another local family. So that's what I got.
That's actually one of your best answers in 7 years. So
you don't.
It started off a little weak. Thanks. It started off a little weak. I thought it was a little PC, but then you went into the Bible study. Okay, that's good.
That's what it is.
You're growing.
Thank you.
Good.
And speaking of races, let's get to like actual, tangible races, so to speak, with Jeff, who is an excellent guest. He's got some fun stories. Here we go. Jeff Garmire right now. With us today is a man who has set speed records on the Colorado Trail, the Arizona Trail, the John Muir Trail, and many more. He's also a movie star, Jeff Garmire. How's it going, man?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure. Yeah, you're like a legend in the backpacking community, the trail running community, just like the adventure community as a whole. So, like, we just appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, so, I try to do it all.
I think that's why you're highly valued for sure. So if you go like on your Instagram, like you can't even fit all of your achievements on like kind of like, how you're known or what you're known for. You just kind of list like this, comma, like, etc. So like you've got so many, if you were going to be introduced to, somebody who's also big time in the outdoor world, somebody like Bear Grylls or Alex Honnold, like, how would you want a mutual friend to introduce you to them? They would say like, this is Jeff, and then like, how would you fill in the blank there?
Wow. That's a really good first question.
Thank you.
I think maybe start with like 35,000 miles of through hiking, backpacking, and I don't know what it's currently at, but 20 plus speed records and number trail running things. I don't know. That's a really good one.
You got to get their attention. You got to impress them, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would say. It'd probably be a pretty awkward conversation if it's with Alex Honnold. I don't think he would be that boastful too.
For sure. I can just share from my own experience. If a friend is introducing me to somebody, whether it's somebody like supposedly important or not, however they're going to introduce me is gonna be very embarrassing. So I just like the thought of like, if you could kind of fill in the blank yourself, just kind of interesting. I don't know. Conversation experience.
At one point I was introduced as the Michael Jordan of through hiking.
Okay. That's not bad, right?
Yeah, it's a little cringy, but I didn't say it, so.
I got introduced as this is Carl. He likes games and stuff. That was like a real introduction I had to somebody new because we had like a common ground. We like playing board games. I thought that was like I couldn't pick a worse intro than that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
I'll take the Michael Jordan of whatever, but all right. So
Michael Jordan of board games.
That's right. I take that back. Maybe not whatever. Like fill in whatever nerdy thing, and then I think I'll save that. They can like discover that about me later. All right. So you mentioned like tens of thousands of trail miles, and so you've had I can't imagine the experiences you had out on the trail. I mean, we have crazy experiences doing like a weekend backpacking trip. So you've done like with the tens of thousands of miles. What's been like one of your oddest, craziest, or most unexpected encounters or experiences?
Oh man. I think being charged by both moose and at a different time a grizzly are kind of stand out as pretty next level. And then also getting to on the Appalachian Trail in the winter, getting to the Kennebec River in Maine and seeing ice on both sides and having no food and basically just knowing I had to swim across. That was one of the first times that I did something and looked back and it was like, well, I don't really need to ever repeat that. That was a little over my head, too risky. I should have known what was coming up. So I think it's a lot of those little stepping stones where you just realize you're pushing the envelope a little bit and hopefully you learn from it or the comfort zone expands or the skill set. But yeah, there's just a lot of different things. And I think the more miles and regions you go to, just the weird chance encounters of seeing random people that you knew from a totally different state or a totally different trail. Those are always pretty fun too, to just re-recognize someone in a different area.
I've had that happen before. That is crazy. You're like, why are you here the same day I am? That's just kind of, it's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I know the moose story. Was the moose story the one where you were trying to pick up some antlers that you found on the trail and then realized they were attached to a living moose? Is that one?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Close. Yeah. I saw the antlers laying there 20 feet away and was like, oh, these are sweet. I'm getting close to a town. And as I got closer, it's like, oh, there's two moose here. So
there's two of them. Okay.
Backed up, but they were, I was too close for their comfort. So it became a mad dash into the bushes to get away from them.
I like the story better where you got your hands on the antlers before you start.
I'm like blindfolded.
You're like yanking, like, why aren't these coming out of the brush?
Yeah, I'll tell it like that from now on.
Okay, yeah, you gotta up it every time. I haven't heard the grizzly story. All right, so a grizzly charged you. Was it like a false charge and you had to stand your ground, or what happened?
Yeah, it was a bluff charge. I was in the Bob Marshall Wilderness, just south of Glacier National Park. Yep. Came around a corner and a mama bear had her head in the bushes. I didn't see the cubs at the time. And then she heard me, backed up a little, and I saw two cubs behind her. And so I just froze. And then she kind of growled and I started backing up. I grabbed my bear spray and then her cubs took off into the bushes and she charged right at me. I don't know, probably 10, 12 feet away. And I'd never really looked up when you're supposed to start deploying bear spray. So I just never did. And I'm just standing there holding it just at the mercy of this many 100-pound bear. And
Right.
then she stopped 10, 12 feet away, got up on her hind legs, growled some more. And then as we both heard her cubs crashing through the bushes, maybe a couple 100 yards away at that point, she ran off and chased them. And I had so much adrenaline going at that point. I was just like kind of just in my own head, hiking on from there. And I came across, there were 2 mules that were tied up just maybe a quarter mile down the road or down the trail. And they were just tied up there. So I started telling them my whole grizzly encounter story, just to like talk to some living thing and get
You're
it
talking
out of my
to the
mind.
mules, not the mule owners, just to clarify.
The mules. And then
Okay.
I looked because I heard like saw some movement, and the mule owners were just like 50 feet away sitting on a log. And I didn't say anything to them. I just started like hiking on and just put a bunch of miles between me and them because I felt so weird about it.
That's pretty funny. Okay. So yeah, I can't imagine like a grizzly charging me, then coming to a full stop and then like taking off. Like I'm guessing you didn't have it in you to have some sort of one-liner like, that's right, go take care of your kids or something like, like I won this battle.
I mean, I wish I did, but no, I was completely silent.
You're talking to mules, talking to the bear's not that far off at that point.
Yeah, I was not afraid of the mules after a grizzly been there. So
Right. All right, that third story you shared about crossing the river. Okay, I think I saw some documentary where it was like, I don't know, there's some like remote gold mining show. Somebody had to cross a cold river, and so they built like this raft where it was just a small raft where they put a lit fire on it so that when they got out on the other side, they could just like immediately warm themselves. Anything like that going on?
Sort of. So I got there and it was, super cold, and I had a resupply just maybe 4 or 5 miles after crossing that river. So
Okay.
what I did when I got there is I knew I'd be just super cold once I got out. Hopefully, if I got across, so I stripped naked actually and crossed in just my shoes so that I had all warm, dry clothes to put on the other side. And
Okay.
thinking back, because it was probably, I don't know, 38, 40 degrees, very cold, but still
Yeah.
flowing. So, but if, something had gone wrong, just a naked body would have floated downstream or something.
Right. Naked man with shoes found floating. You don't want that to be the final headline for sure.
John Doe. Yep.
John Doe. That's right. That's funny. Okay. I'm glad you're okay with both those encounters and experiences. That's some crazy stuff for sure. So another thought I had is like when I'm watching some of the videos you put out there, when you're on trail, you've got the earbuds in. I mean, you're doing a lot of miles with earbuds. So what are you listening to?
Man.
Or like
sometimes it's
besides the Backpacking and Blisters podcast, of course.
Yeah. So that's number one. And once I'm all caught up, I, for a while, probably from like 2019 to, I don't know, maybe a year ago, I used them a lot just for when I made videos. So the audio was a little bit better. So not as much listening to stuff, but every video that I would make, it would have the earbuds so that the audio was a little bit better. But I will listen to some stuff at night or something, especially on an FKT or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I really like Sam Cooke type stuff, like some all kinds of just easygoing, smooth stuff. Not a huge metalhead or anything like that.
All right, right. That's interesting. That's actually a good strategy, I guess. I didn't even think about that. If you're kind of doing some like selfie videos and stuff to try to get some better audio than whatever the phone provides. So interesting. Okay, a little quick hack there for people making selfie videos, Instagram stars out there. And speaking of stars, all right, so you're the star of the movie Free Outside. Excuse me. A fastest known time attempt on the Colorado Trail. All right, so we can talk about kind of where that can be found and that sort of thing here in a minute. But there's a lot of just FKT attempts, FKT documentaries out there. So what's making this story different, or what's attracting people to this one?
Yeah, we went with a feature film approach with a editor who is a friend who works in Hollywood, director who's directed a lot of trail running stuff too. Yeah, and just documenting an unsupported FKT. I mean, it's mostly based on my own selfie videos more than anything, and then telling the story a lot more with before and after like interviews, and then some drone stuff or some footage stuff too, and then just sort of telling the story of the Colorado Trail along with it. So yeah, it's just kind of a different take on the shorter YouTube style, making it more the feature length and making it in 4K, editor, storyline, all that kind of stuff.
So better cinematography, more of a like established storyline. When it's kind of more long form content that has more of the ups and downs, so to speak.
Yeah, and it sort of, and with professional sound engineer after the fact, colorist, all original music, all that kind of stuff. Took a year and a half to get to a finished product, so it definitely comes with the I guess the things that, I don't know, more people working on something, it takes a lot longer to come out with. So yeah.
Different timelines for sure. So, and then where, like, I know that you were kind of showing it more locally, so it have these local venues where you can go watch it, and it's more of an event. So I haven't had a chance to see it yet. What's the future for this film in terms of like where we might be able to see it or watch it, or what's, you know, kind of where are we in this process?
Yeah, right now a distribution company has it and is pitching it to streaming services like Prime or Netflix, that kind of route, or Hulu or whatever. And then, so hopefully around, let's say March or something, it should be out on a streaming platform, and then it will be in the spring, one form or another, no matter how that goes. And then in the meantime, still looking at probably adding 2 to 3 more dates. We've kind of just picked out cities and toured it there. So we might do like a Phoenix, Flagstaff type thing, and then a LA screening, and then be done with the screening realm.
Are you there when you screen them?
Yeah, I think I've been to, I mean, at least most of them. Yeah. And then we do a Q&A after the fact, usually me or the director or the editors there. And yeah, it's pretty fun, pretty crazy.
It's like kind of like a band going on tour then, right? You're just like, I'm touring around watching the vid, and then you're like the star afterwards.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to see it on the big screen. I mean, I've seen it too many times now. It's like, I know everything that's going to happen, but it's pretty fun to just see audiences and this is really goes to show how good the director and the editor were, is when people laugh when they're supposed to laugh, or like gasp when they're supposed to gasp, or that kind of thing. The reactions are really cool. It's amazing what video and a storyline can do to an audience, and they're all watching it together, so you get to experience like the energy of 300 people reacting to the same thing at the same time.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited to see it for sure. And you, like, there's a trailer's been out for a while, and so you've got it kind of reveals a little bit, but it sounds like there's a lot of just challenges, like physical, mental, emotional challenges that you experience. I mean, really, you know, whether it's this one or whatever FKT you're doing, that you just have a lot of ups and downs on the trail. So, like, what are the biggest ones that kind of pop out when you think about these trips? Like, what are the kind of the biggest challenges you have?
Yeah, on this one, doing anything unsupported for 9 days is crazy, because usually you have a resupply or cash or anything to break up that trip. But starting from mile 0 and knowing that you don't really get a break for 490 miles, and everything that you're going to need is in your pack. And so started at around 30 pounds or so. And then still trying to do 50 plus miles a day. It's just really hard to grasp something that long and that hard. So the main challenge was just the duration of it. And like on day 2, 3, 4, when you're exhausted, tired, and struggling, you still have like more than double that left. So it's just really hard to mentally stay positive. And once you lose that mental toughness, you sort of lose everything as far as the success and having that willpower to sleep for 2 hours instead of just turning off the alarm and sleeping in until 6 or 7 in the morning. So it really is so mental. Almost every physical challenge can kind of be overcome within reason, or it's either going to take you off the trail or it's not. It's those in between ones that you have to choose to deal with rather than let them pull you off the trail.
Right. I find that when kind of morale is low and you're struggling, your energy's low. I find sometimes coming across the right person on the trail who might be traveling the opposite direction can be a big time morale boost. Did you have those experiences where people are just like, they're just feeding you encouragement as you're going?
Yeah, a little bit. I think more so the views and stuff. So I'd lived in Colorado for about 5 years, from
Okay.
maybe 4.5 years or so. And even connecting the places, I'd never done the Colorado Trail, but I climbed all the 14ers in the area. So seeing and connecting each little micro mountain range within the Rockies just was this morale booster. Like, oh, I'm
Right.
getting towards San Luis Peak, and then I'm getting towards the collegiates and things like that. It was just like this connection in my mind that would really spur me on or something. Or I got through the collegiate loop portion of the trail, or just these little things, because having this bigger goal that was not already broken up in a resupply spreadsheet, as most things are, I had to come up with these other micro goals along the way. And it
Mm,
more was landmarks or viewpoints, or
okay.
maybe like a highway crossing. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's really what I focused on. I think the treat is seeing other hikers or other people out there, but I don't know. I think it's hard to let that dictate everything, especially when so many miles are in the night and you're just passing some tents and stuff.
Yeah, I'll say that signposts are big for me too. Like that one
Yep.
where you're just like, man, are we there yet? And then you see the signpost, you're like, thank the Lord. But
Yeah.
yeah, actually the last time we did a trip where we were out talking about like in the wee hours of the night, it was crazy. Like you're passing tents, like you're saying, but we actually encountered somebody with bobbin headlamps coming the opposite way who was just starting a backpacking trip. Just they must have started like 9 p.m. It was like the weirdest thing. I'm guessing that wasn't too common for you.
No, not too common. Yeah, I don't even think I saw too much wildlife out there. But yeah,
Okay.
any little thing, I think from a lot of time alone in the wilderness, especially some lesser used portions of trails, you just treat like any little upper as a good one. Just in the past, I've used like, oh, there's a lake in 10 miles. If I get there by this time, I'm gonna go for a swim, that type of thing. Like
Oh,
dangling little carrots and little reprieves from just breaking up. You're walking all day. It's not, I don't
right.
find it boring, but you got to have little treasures along the way too.
For sure. For sure. Okay. So getting back to the unsupported nature of this is what blows me away about unsupported is because I know what that means and I know what that is involved. Like it's not, so just to clarify for everybody else out there, it's not where you can just like stash some gear, some food along the way, and then you pick it up. Like you can't cache things. You have to have everything with you, point A to point B. And so for me, like the food is what blows me away. So you're talking 9 days on the trail. And at least from my own experiences, if you're talking like 50 miles in a day, I'm guessing like you had to do some calculations where we're talking like 8 to 10,000 calories a day. And so, you multiply that out. Like, were you packing like 70K calories to start the trip? Something like that?
I think I did about 5,500 per day and just depended on
Oh,
losing
no.
weight. So it
That's
would be,
crazy.
yeah, it would just slowly degrade.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was all portioned into each day. This is what I have to eat. It was mostly snack food. 80% was about as high calories per ounce as I could get. And the other 20% was like emotionally uplifting food, or like this
Right.
little
Right.
treat or something that I would enjoy.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a lot of calculation and planning, and like how little do I think I can make it work on.
Right. But still like 50,000 calories. I mean, that's still a lot. Like that's still when you're talking about you're starting with a 30-pound pack, the overwhelming majority of that had to be food, right?
Oh yeah, by far. I think the base weight, I'm sure, was in like the single digits or something. Probably, I don't know, 20 pounds of food or something.
Okay. That is crazy. And you were disciplined enough to be like, okay, I want more than 5,500 calories today. I'm tired. I'm still hungry, but I can't eat. You could do that.
Yeah, but you do make little concessions along the way, like,
Okay.
oh, I really want something salty, so I trade something sweet from today for something salty from tomorrow. So
You're
you do make little trades, but you try to keep it within reason. You're like bartering with your future self.
trading with, yeah, exactly. Trading with your future self. Okay. When I was doing the math, I was like, that's crazy to have that much weight just in food. Oh my gosh. Okay.
But it drops down really quick too, as far
Yeah,
as
that's
like
the nice
3
part, right?
days
Is you're
in.
losing the weight literally. So,
So
okay.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay. Um, all right. So anytime somebody spends a lot of time on the trail, we always want to know like gear that's working for them, gear that's not. So 3 pieces of gear that worked for you, you'd bring it again, you still have it. Like, what are we talking about here?
Man, I love quilts. So rather than a sleeping bag,
Okay.
like a catabatic quilt is what I've used for nearly every mile I've ever backpacked. So I actually have 2 of them because I love them so much.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they work perfect whether you're car camping or on the trail. They can be a blanket when it's hot or a full sleeping bag when it's cold, and pretty good down to, I don't know, maybe mid-teens for temperature if you get like a 20-degree one and have some extra stuff there.
Right.
So that's definitely high up. Man, where else do I splurge?
Well, I mean, it could
On
be
like
anything. It
things
could be
like,
like your trekking poles, your shoes, your headband, your tiger shirt, whatever it is.
well, I think the lightweight trekking poles, even though like carbon sometimes snaps, I think they're so nice. Heavier trekking poles, I mean, you're already going to burn more calories by using trekking poles. So the lighter
Mhm.
you have, the better you'll be. I've had arms cramp in the past from using trekking poles for
Really?
50 plus miles or even during
Yeah.
a ultra ultra marathon or something. So
Okay.
lightweight trekking poles. I like the Gossamer Gear LT5s. They're pretty light, and since they do twist lock, which some people don't like, but that makes them pretty modular, so you can replace them pretty easily too.
Okay.
So that's a huge one. And then, yeah, I think a fun shirt or whatever, there's plenty of options out there, and some companies have come out in the last few years too. I have a tiger shirt that I cut the sleeves off and hemmed up myself. That's pretty fun, but something that helps remind you, even if it's an FKT or a through hike or just a weekend backpacking trip, that you're having fun out there. You're exploring, doing something fun. It also makes the pictures more fun. Just a little spice of fun, no matter how you want to do it. If it's a hat or fun socks or wear a kilt, I don't know. Just I think it's all recreation, and the peak level of anything in this sport isn't very high. So you better be having fun along the way too.
For sure. And the folks that are listening to this, they're more on the fun side. They're not like the serious, intense, shushing you while you're out on the trail kind of person. So, all right. So, just out of curiosity, so we have a lot of experience with snapped trekking poles with this podcast. Like,
Okay.
when you're talking about you breaking trekking poles on the trail, I get that the carbon fiber ones break more easily. I do get that. How frequently would you say you break one? Like every 1,000 miles, more frequently, less frequently? Where are we at?
Maybe one every long through hike. I think I broke
Okay.
maybe 2 on the 7,000-mile Great Western Loop, maybe
Wow.
3 on the Calendar Year Triple Crown. Not very often, and it's like you'll fall and land on it and it won't break, and then you'll just stick it in a rock wrong and it'll snap
Right.
randomly. It doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
yeah, not
Well, the ones that we break make sense because we had one guy with anger rage who just like got so mad he just like smacked it against a tree and that did it.
yeah,
So we
that'll usually do it for whether it's carbon fiber or aluminum or whatever you
yeah,
have.
or steel if you're really
Yeah,
strong. So
titanium. Yeah.
that's right. All right. Is there any piece of gear where you're like, I brought this on a hike, I brought this on FKT, whatever, and oh my goodness, was this terrible?
I tried to make my own alcohol stove way back in the day and took it a few
Okay.
times. And it was like, this is number one, a fire hazard. Number two, it sucks. And it doesn't weigh hard. It barely weighs less than just a stove designed for taking. So I think we're really seeing alcohol stoves disappear. But back in the day, 10 years ago or so, I tried that whole movement to have the lightweight, like little beer can stove that you make,
Right.
and it did not perform like everyone pretends it does.
No, I predicted that would be a trend that would die out pretty fast, and then, but it's like making a comeback this year for whatever reason. I don't know why, but we'll have to circle back to that because that's it's weird with all the extra fuel you got to bring and all that stuff. So, okay, you mentioned that the fun kind of stuff you do with with, you know, whether you're out on the trail or whether you're running, and you got some vids, man, that are just awesome. You do a lot of running races like outside of the trail, 5Ks, whatever. And you like intentionally do some of them with that flair like you're describing. So in your opinion, what's the weirdest thing you've done in a running race?
Wow. There's a lot of them. And the genesis of this was, you know, they call them like a fun 5K or something, like a fun run or something. And, you know, everyone shows up in their normal stuff and it doesn't seem like there's much fun.
They're not
And so
fun.
I did one in Crocs. That was kind of the start. And then the best one was after that, me and a friend, I went and bought a watermelon from the store. We found a jogging stroller at a thrift store for like $10 or something.
Okay.
And we got an old doll from Goodwill, and we sort of did some plastic surgery on the doll, took the eyeballs out and and the arms, and we drilled some holes in this watermelon, and we put the eyes in it. We made it a face. We put some arms on it. I put a diaper on it. It had a bottle, a wig, and we named it Kevin. And so, and then after all this, I had to run the 5K, so ran it. I didn't know that it was a trail 5K, and so my jogging stroller wasn't really set up for that, but we made it work. The brake kept rattling and engaging, so it would like screech to a stop. But I flew through that thing pretty well. Yeah, it still managed like top 10 or something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. When I saw the video of that, and it just looked like you had both a watermelon and then like a baby doll at the same time. But you're saying you actually just made the watermelon. The watermelon was the baby doll, basically. So
yeah,
that's
we
hilarious.
used the parts of the baby doll to enhance a watermelon into an actual personification of a baby, I guess.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. And you probably got some looks as you're passing people. Maybe you're demoralizing other racers. You're like, dude, I just got passed by a guy with a stroller has his brake engaged at the same time with the watermelon doll.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of that. On the way to the
Yeah.
start line in that video that I made, someone's like, is that a guy pushing a watermelon, or some comment like that? And it was like,
Right.
yep, this is exactly what we were going for here.
We're getting the reaction we want. Well, I predict you're going to react to your own stuff, you know, years from now, because for me, the crazy thing running in Crocs, like I've had so many foot problems in like the last, I don't know, 3-4 years, that the thought of that I'm just asking for something like plantar fasciitis after that. So you might look back in that and be like, dude, I can't believe my body held up with the Crocs. So
yeah,
just
the Crocs that was a fun one. I mean, it was a week after doing a 100-mile race, and just was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, it's like our biggest race in town, just a 5K with hundreds of people. It was like, if I'm doing this, I'm going to go for a PR and something fun. And so set a PR, and I think every year I'll try to break that PR.
Okay. Well, I've got some suggestions for you. That's kind of what our podcast is known for, because we got some creative suggestions for future races. All right. So my question to you is, which of the three following ideas I've got for you are you most likely to use on a future race? It could be 5K, whatever you want. If you want to use it on FKT, go for it. Number one, wear Heelys for your shoes and periodically skate past people. Maybe give them like a little sideways glance while you're doing it too. That's number one. Number two, dress as an elderly man. Go full costume with makeup, hair, and a cane. You got to hobble to the start line, run the race, and then go back to using your cane to the finish, hobbling away from the finish line. Okay. This one I haven't seen. Like, you've seen people wear like those like inflatable dinosaur costumes and that kind of thing, but I want you to run your best wearing one of those like full-size sumo suits. Those like heavy duty. Yeah. Like, you're probably more waddling than running at that point, but what you got, Jeff? Out of those three, which one are you most likely to do?
I really love the old man idea, especially if I have someone real good with makeup. The Heelys is good too. Both of those are just really funny.
Okay. You said you're connected to Hollywood. You got some Hollywood guys that are producing your movie. Surely they've got a makeup person that could, you know, like, I'm old man Jeff for this race.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds perfect. Just fully embrace it, run really well, and then just like hold your back and hobble away at the end of that would be great, especially if you could beat some decent runners or something. That's always the goal. And yeah,
greet them at the finish line after after you finish, you're just like there at the cane, you're like, good job, Sonny.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I had somebody suggested something along those lines, like for me as a teacher, they thought it'd be cool if I got like the old man makeup. This is like when I was a lot younger too. And that throughout the school year, I would just like slowly get younger and younger. So like have less and less makeup on, like less gray hair, that kind of thing. I thought that would take a lot of effort, but I don't know if the kids would actually notice. It would just be like funny to me.
180 days of doing that, just Benjamin Button yourself.
Right. You could take selfies and put it on Instagram. So I don't know. All right. So I've listened to some interviews, and I think the common question you get at the end or towards the end is like, so what's next? What's next for you, Jeff? But you know what? Not here. We're not going to ask that question because I'm going to tell you what should be next. I've got a challenge for you.
Okay.
Yeah. For this, you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. Because you're an FKT guy. And a few months ago in Yosemite, my buddy Rocky and I, we set an FKT on a 50-mile loop in Yosemite called the Red Peak Pass Loop. This is actually first done by Alex Honnold, strangely enough, kind of circling back to the beginning of our discussion. But he didn't submit it. He didn't Strava it, Garmin it, whatever. So he just like posted, he did it, on Instagram. That was like, it wasn't last summer, it was the summer before that. And so we made it official in August, but we're old dudes. You're young, you're way faster. And then on top of that, we did it like after the winter where they had crazy snow.
Okay.
And so in August, the high mountain peaks, like they were still covered, like not just the north facing side, but the south facing side. So it just took us forever, basically. Essentially, like we set the FKT, but this has got to be for somebody like you, this has got to be one of the easiest ones to beat. So if you find yourself in the area, you're looking for a long training day and you want to defeat an established FKT, Red Peak Pass Loop, what do you think?
All right. What's involved in this? Where does it start in the valley and climb up Red Peak Pass, I'm assuming?
Yeah, good call. So, so it sounds like you know Yosemite a little bit. I know you did the John Muir Trail. It starts somewhere near Glacier Point. And then it starts with the descent, and then it goes. If you go to the left, you kind of connect with the John Muir Trail as it heads towards Half Dome, but you actually go to the right around the loop, up over the Clark Mountain Range. The high point's 11,700 feet. You loop back around, and you eventually get to like Merced Trail Camp, where it then kind of loops back towards Glacier Point. And so, the toughest miles are in the first, I want to say 40% of the trail.
Okay. I like this. Yeah. I backpacked a lot of that trail, it sounds like. So I just got to put it together and do an FKT.
Our time was terrible. So you could probably just show up and get it and achieve it. And so we only did one other FKT, and it was like immediately defeated once we posted it, once we established it. And so, it'd be an honor for us to have somebody as prestigious as yourself take us down.
Well, thanks. Yeah. I mean, the goal is to get out to the Yosemite area this summer. So, I mean, maybe I could just add it to the list.
Yeah, put it on the list. Just like, oh, by the way, on Saturday, I'm going to go take off and do this and get my stuff together. And honestly, like the trail conditions were so bad, like bridges were washed out. Everything's overgrown. We had to navigate a good section of it. I bet all that's going to be taken care of by next summer.
Let's hope so. Then it'll just be a walk in the park at that point.
Literally. All right. Keep us posted. And also keep us posted on when, when your video's out on a streaming service. We'll definitely share that with our folks because we're excited to watch it.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, where can we find you to keep updated on all the amazing things you're doing? Where can we go?
Yeah. freeoutside.com, the Free Outside on Instagram, and then Free Outside on everything else. And if anyone's into reading still these days, there's a book called Free Outside that I wrote. Kind of the whole brand's under Free Outside. So keep it pretty simple.
Okay, we'll have all that in our show description. We'll have we got your book, we have your socials and all that stuff. So, Jeff, man, thank you so much for joining the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love the ideas for what to race in next. I thought about Heelys, but not the old man style where you just trick everyone else at the race. That's really good.
All right, let me know if you do that. We've got to get a video on that. That's awesome. All right, thanks again, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, man, what'd you think about that?
I mean, Michael Jordan, bro. That's a tall. That just jumped out. I mean, that's a tall claim.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think for Michael Jordan of backpacking, I think Michael Jordan did it over the duration of a long career. So I think he's got to get some more years in of Michael Jordan to fully embrace that claim. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, would Michael Jordan hike Antarctica in like trunks and a t-shirt? Is that Michael Jordan? Or is that crazy?
Michael Jordan was always, he had his game jersey on or he had suits on. It was like one or the other, right?
One or the other.
Yeah.
One or the other. Okay.
So maybe he would hike Antarctica in a suit.
Well, at the Olympics, he had like a windbreaker, outfit on.
Yeah, wasn't that was a controversial thing, wasn't it? That was the one where he had to cover it with like a towel or something because it was like an Adidas logo and he's a Nike guy.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so he didn't even want to do that. That was a big to do.
That was a big to do.
Yeah.
That was a big to do.
Anyway,
that's like somebody saying you're like the Michael Jordan of growing hair, but like you know that's not true. So
you're saying Jeff knows that that's not true about himself?
I'm saying Jeff needs longevity, like you're saying. I think the more people who jump on board with that, I think that's how the legend grows. Like if his like grandma said that, I mean, and you claim it, I don't know if does that count? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It wasn't his grandma that said. I don't know. He said he had been called that. I don't know that he was claiming that. He's just sharing one of his intros. But you're right. I agree with you on that one for sure. I think if he comes on one of our backpacking trips, maybe he can definitely up that level, up to that status level for sure.
Yeah. Then we can grade him. You can grade him. Get out your grader and do that.
What is my grader? What's my grader?
I don't know. It's in your head. Some kind of weird grading system.
Get something out that's in my head. That makes sense.
Well, Jeff, you climb that hill with a great pace. You're more of a Karl Malone, not a Michael Jordan. I mean, I can see you doing something like that, like more of a John Stockton kind of guy.
When he made the basketball reference, I'm like, ooh, Derek's all in on this one. I know he's going to have some stuff to say.
For sure.
All right. So what did you think about me challenging him with the FKT that Rocky and I literally just set a few months ago?
Foolish on your part.
Why?
Because he'll destroy it. I mean,
yeah. So what? Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, it's not. Is that really a challenge for him though?
Probably not. It's like a training day for him. Probably.
It's like an afternoon.
He's also way younger than us, so there's that.
I mean, that does help. Youth helps. That's true.
Right.
Unsupported. That's pretty impressive though. All these unsupported things he's been doing. That's impressive.
Yeah. Here's what's okay. Backstory about some of the FKTs. Some of these long trail FKTs. Somebody will set one. And then that person that set the record will go back and like support or help somebody else who's trying to break their own record.
That's the community though.
Yeah, it's very friendly, very nice.
It's the beauty of the community.
Don't you think in the backpacking community, we need some sort of like rivalry. We need like a Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. We need somebody to be like, you can't break this. Like that record I just set is unbreakable, or at least it's unbreakable by you, and have some sort of rival. We got to kind of set that up.
This is where I think your grading system could really come in handy. Like you grade his FKT, like, yeah, you beat the time, but like maybe like a B. I think you could do better. Like just start.
See, that would only matter if I actually physically had the capability to beat his record. Then I could set that rivalry up, but I'm not that guy. I need to find somebody who's, in their mid to late 40s who's more on par with me, and then we need to start talking smack to each other.
Nothing like a mid 40s FKT rivalry going on to just stir everybody, get them excited.
The backpacking community is anything, man. I don't care if I'm entry level and then somebody else ups the game like Jeff. It just needs something.
Let's just find you a nice 45, 6, 7-year-old, and we'll try it out.
All right. I got one. I got a couple contenders. We'll talk about that later, though.
Okay.
All right. So anything else from that?
I mean, I feel like you had a suggestion of running like a 5K in an old man outfit or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think he should dress up like an Oompa Loompa.
Okay.
And then run it like that.
That's a good one too.
Maybe sing the song a little bit.
But how did he respond to that? Did he say, when I said dress up like an old man, like an elderly man, did he say, you mean dress like Derek? Is that what he said?
I think we, again, need to have your ears checked and your mind checked as well for listening skills. No, he said it's more like.
What did he say?
He was like,
Derek, you don't remember either.
I'm going to dress up like Carl and just do what Carl would do, is what he said.
That makes sense. I believe you.
Absolutely.
All right. So Oompa Loompa instead. And maybe if you've been part of the interview, you could have suggested that.
Like paint himself orange,
Yeah.
green hair, the whole thing.
Maybe show up to more interviews and you can do that.
Wow. This is the vibe right here. That'll get that rivalry going,
Actually, this is the first one you've missed in a long time. You've been doing good.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Grader. Thanks.
All right. Okay, so we've got, let's see, you've got trivia this time, right?
I got trivia. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is let's see, what did I call it? I don't think I have a name for it. Okay, this is like Long Trail trivia.
Okay.
Coming up right after this.
All right. It's January, folks. You've recommitted yourself to getting back in shape, eating better. I said that ever. It's January, folks. You've recommitted yourself to getting back in shape, eating better, planning bucket list trips. Our good friend Rowan from Summit Strength will help you get fit, strong, and resilient so you can conquer your 2024 adventures. Rowan uses rock-solid evidence and years of experience to get you trail ready for all circumstances, rocky conditions, steep grades, sustained climbs, friends like Derek. Reach out to him at summitstrength.com.au. And thanks, Rowan, for sponsoring this trivia. All right, Derek, what you got?
Wow. All right, we got Long Trail trivia. Here we go. 3 questions. Can you do it?
Yes.
Number one. There's a hiker named Nina Mooch Bridges, I believe you know.
Uh-oh.
Set the most recent recorded supported record on the Colorado Trail. How fast did she do it? Did she do it in 8 days, 10 days, 12 days, or 5 days?
Yikes. Okay.
And I'm kind of like
Why haven't I
rounding.
heard of this person?
I'm not going to be like, X amount of days in 10 hours. I'm just kind of rounding.
Yeah, that's fine. I just don't know why I haven't heard of this person. Was this from last summer?
I feel like we've heard of Mooch, the Mooch.
Well, you talk about mooching all the time, so that makes sense. But
Wow.
it's either the 5 or the 8. So Jeff did it unsupported in 10 days. So it has to be faster than that. So it's got to be the 8 or the 5. So if you did it in 5 days, it's like 100 miles a day. So I'm going to go 8 days.
That is correct.
I got
days.
one.
Look at you breaking
Okay.
it down. I don't know how fast you were Googling, but nice job.
Very fast.
Number 2, according to one study, about 3 million thru hikers head out each year in the
Wow,
Appalachian.
is that really like across the world?
Can I finish the question?
No.
May I?
No.
May I?
I'll finish the question.
I'm gonna finish the question.
Okay, sorry.
According to one study, about 3 million thru hikers head out each year on the Appalachian Trail. About how many?
That seems like way too much by 100-fold.
I'm just telling you what I'm reading here.
Okay.
About how many actually finish out of 3 million? Is it like 50,000? Is it like
I don't believe
200?
it. I don't believe the 3 million for the first part, so I don't know how to answer
Look,
this
this
question.
is the stat. I'm telling you the stat. I'm not making it up.
All right, I actually am gonna Google how many. Can I do that?
Oh, you want to Google it in the middle of the question?
I want to confirm that this is a real question because that seems like a crazy, impossible number.
Oh my gosh!
Think about that. Think about 3 million on the same trail. Think about that.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about how weird it is that you're.
Well, I'm asking permission. Can I confirm that first stat?
When have we ever Googled mid question?
A lot. I should always tell you.
You think I just pulled this number out of my like?
I think that you misread. I think that you are still learning numbers. And
wow. Can you just roll with it, please? Clearly, you're
well,
not.
Okay, I'm going to look it up after them because I want to confirm. All right, go ahead. 50,000.
Of course, you look it up after.
Yeah.
Is it 50? Is it 250,000? Is it 3,000? Is it every one of them? All 3 million? Or is it only Carl has finished it and nobody else?
I don't even want to do that trail. Oh my gosh. I would guess 3,000.
3,000 is correct. They said about a small.
Okay.
That's a very small percentage, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a small percentage, but I just think that the 3 million is an impossible number. All right, I'm gonna look it up real quick. I looked it up, so I found 3 million. So you're right about that, but it's not through hikers. It's people that use the trail. So that could be day hikers, that could be section hikers, that could be sectionhiker.com, that could be all those guys.
Sectionhiker.com.
It doesn't matter. I got it right, but think about 3 million people starting like around the same time. It's like a more than an army. You're talking about like all the orcs from Mordor.
3 million more than an army?
Saruman's orcs times like 100 attacking a very thin trail.
You should have been a battle commander. I mean, is Napoleon like got nothing on you? Because you could go up to him and be like, "Hey, 3 million people is more than an army." Napoleon.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
You can deflect if you want to.
Look, If you want to Google your life away, Google your life away. It's fine. Number 3, you're 2 for 2. You
Okay,
just be excited about it.
2024
This is
goal
really
for
rare.
you is take ownership of something. So
The 2024 goal for you is to grow hair and get trivia right. Okay. Number 3.
I've already got it right.
This is a rarity for you to get all 3. So
Okay, it is.
everybody knows it. According to the stats, one ultra through hike trail is by far the most popular. I'm not going to give you multiple choice on this one. I can give you a hint if you have no idea.
What's an ultra through hike trail?
I don't know how they class. It's super long. I don't know. I don't really know.
It's one that I've heard of. I take it.
Yes.
Okay.
Is this easier than you think?
Is the most popular. I think Appalachian Trail is the most popular through hike trail by far, but I doubt you do 2 Appalachian Trail questions in a row.
Ultra through hike trail. Ultra.
I don't know what that means.
I guess it means a lot longer than a typical through hike. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know how they class. I'm not like a professional classifier of trails.
I don't know.
You can miss it. It's fine. You're gonna get 2. Just give up.
Okay, so it sounds like it's not the Appalachian Trail based on.
No, it's not. It's not the Appalachian. Is that your guess? That was your guess? Or was that like a
It's
feeler?
not my guess. I'm trying to.
Oh, you're
I don't know. I don't know a lot of
Okay.
trails that are longer, other than like the Great Western Loop. But you wouldn't have that as a commonly referenced trail. Ultra through hike trail, like Transamerica. I don't know.
They say it's the PCT. They say PCT is an ultra.
Similar. That's similar distance to the Appalachian. You were implying that it was like longer than that.
It's the most popular though, based on how many people actually go on the trail.
Right.
So
That's interesting.
there you go. 2 out of 3.
All right.
Not bad. That's good.
Okay.
For you.
I don't know what ultra means. So I just think through.
I don't either. I think it's just, I don't know.
All right.
You want to Google it?
Yes. All right. I got a couple tidbits for you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so actually, you have a tidbit because I emailed you. I'm not sure if you got that. We got like a sort of like an email review. It was actually reviewed on Facebook too by Matt Trail Dog from Virginia. Did you get that?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, so you can read all or part of it, sum it up, however you want to do it.
You want me to read? Okay, let me read this. It's I love the podcast and anxiously await a new episode every week. I am a delivery driver and listen to you both for quite literally hours at a time. Yes. I'm pretty sure I listened to every episode in a little over 2 weeks. That's impressive in itself right there.
Yeah, that's a little too much, Derek, in my opinion.
Too much. I don't think that's possible. From start until now, and I got to say, you guys got a great thing going. Does he really know us that well? I mean, do we have a great thing going, Carl? People have said
after 266 episodes, I think he probably knows.
People have said it before in different ways, but you guys are the best example of best friends I've ever seen or heard. Well, there's a lot of behind the scenes.
Am I your best friend?
There's a lot of behind the scenes that he doesn't know. You know?
Yeah.
This guy drives me nuts. No. No, he's one of my best friends for sure. Derek is quick-witted and kind of, I love this, cute, stupid, like a kitten that keeps staring at itself inquisitively in the mirror. We'll get to that.
Stop it right there. So right there. Give a response to that.
My response to that, that's a bold claim. I don't know if he's trying to flatter us or insult us at the same time.
Both. He's definitely doing both.
It's like a backhanded compliment, but
that's not like a compliment. I would not want to be called that.
You're kind of a cute, stupid. Wow. Well, Matthew, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know if you've ever done a podcast, especially with Carl, but there's a lot of production, post-production, pre-production. And then there's a lot of character stuff we'll do. It's called, acting. So I think sometimes we'll pretend we're doing.
You're not acting. I'm not acting. These are who we are, man.
You're not acting. No, this is you for sure. I don't know. I'll do a lot of stuff I don't normally do though, for sure. Just I'm the funny guy. So I got to do stuff that's funny because Carl, I'm carrying Carl as well, Matt.
That is incorrect. I think I've told the story before, but
what?
Like I'm talking, nobody's listening. You're talking, nobody's listening. We're talking together. For whatever reason, people would stop and they would listen to us, like when we're out on the trail. This is who you are, man. This
is the absurdity of our relationship.
Correct.
Is when we go married mode and bicker. Like that's funny to people, I guess. So
you might think, okay, to Derek's defense, you might think you called him cute, stupid. He's very funny and he'll say some ridiculous things for sure. Derek is actually like a very highly intelligent person. Like
I don't need you to defend me. I know I'm smart. It's not.
This is what friends do, man. They have each other's back.
What a guy. I mean, somebody called me cute. I'll take that as it is. That's a rarity. So thank you for calling me cute.
Now he can bash me. What did he say about me?
And for Carl, I love this too. This is probably my favorite part of the whole email because it's so condescending. And Carl, dear Carl, like that chunk alone is just like, oh, poor sweet little stupid Carl. The only man to ever have a joke rejected by Laffy Taffy. Seriously though, you might not be funny, but your attention to detail is very much appreciated. So few people have that anymore. Ouch.
Wrong on both accounts, Matt. Wrong. So
you
first
might
of all,
not be funny.
He's referring to the intros, right? Where we got the dad jokes. And I think a lot of people get confused by like the purpose behind dad jokes. So you tell a dad joke as an icebreaker. You tell a dad joke to lighten the mood, but they're not always meant to be laugh out loud funny. In fact, most of the time they're not. That's just kind of what dads are trying to do. They're morale boosters. And I'm trying to boost your morale, Matt. I'm sorry if I failed at that. But also wrong about attention to detail. I still struggle with attention to detail. Derek, how many times have we over and over recording a guest, we're interviewing a guest, we forget to hit record, or recording ourselves and we have to like start over. Yeah, that is not my strength. I tried.
It's called being middle-aged, and we all suffer from that. So I don't fault you for that at all. I'm here to help you with that. But I will say, if we both did the intros the same way, it gives me nothing to harass you about, and that steals some of the fun away. Right? Yeah. You have your own style. We talked about the season 1, season 2, or season 2, season 3. We didn't do it season 1. And I think that is what makes it fun.
So here's what's funny about the intro thing is that so Derek used to just do it by himself and I didn't ever respond. And then finally I'm like, I'm not taking it from Derek. And so I started responding with my own intros for him. And then we had a dude like give pushback on it. He's like, Carl, like you need to stop doing that. We still get people that go back to that first and second season and hear the pushback on that and respond to that guy's complaints. And they're like, no, Carl, you got to keep giving it to Derek. So that's where I don't know. I'm just gonna
that's where I think that we're doing things we normally wouldn't typically do.
Well, that's just part of it. Yeah, part of a show.
It's called entertainment, you know?
Okay.
Don't believe everything you see and read on TV, Matt. I mean, just a newsflash. Not real. A lot of it's not real.
It is real. You are real. This is who you are.
Those reality shows aren't real.
Pretend.
Next, Matt's going to tell me those reality shows are all fly by the seat of your pants and real and not scripted whatsoever. Is that what he's going to tell me? Don't tell me that, Matt.
The last part of his email was, if you read this email on the podcast, I'll join Patreon, is what he said. And I was like, Matt, just so you know, we're not salespeople. We're not trying to convince people to join Patreon. If they want to, we so appreciate them. But people have like actually reached out to me being like, you know, why don't you sell me on this? Like, why do you deserve my Patreon support? I'm like, it's not who we are. We're just trying to put a good show out there. If you want to keep our show going, then great. And Matt, before obviously we read this, he actually joined Patreon. So he's our latest Patreon supporter from Virginia. Virginia is for lovers on the license plate. So Matt, thank you.
We're calling him out. Now he's committed to the $5 a month.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And I want to get, so I emailed back and forth with him a couple times. He actually has some really good stuff, and we're going to bring up some of his stuff on future episodes. He's like an ideas guy, which I appreciate. Right. But he said, he had, I think it was his wife, Amber, and his son, Lawson, in the car. And he was like driving Lawson to school, dropping him off or whatever. And he's like, he puts on our show and they're like, we don't want to listen to your podcast. And then they listen to it. And then like the next day they're like, actually, can you put that podcast back on? So that kind of warmed my heart. So shout out to Amber and Lawson. Thanks for putting up with us and being willing to listen to us as well.
Love it. Thank you everybody for those. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. I think, let's see here. I think that's all I got. Oh, speaking of Patreon, if you're looking to get more content, we got 5 fake problems you're still trying to solve as our latest bonus episode for the month of January. So if that sounds like something you want to listen to,
check it.
Consider joining the family.
Check it.
That's all I got, my friend. That's all I got.
Guys, thank you very much for sticking with us and hearing the interview about the FKTs. And we will see you next time. Remember, guys, if you want to do an FKT and beat Carl's time, all you have to do is walk.